Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, big surprise. The market's going higher. The fact that IWM is pushing up into all-time highs like it is today. All right, you got the rejection yesterday, but you got right back above yesterday's side today. Yeah, it kind of tells us where this market wants to go. We're about to see an all-time high breakout. We haven't visited these in quite some time, guys. Quite some time. Just about a year. All right, about 10 months there. We are probably going a lot higher here on small caps. And if that's going to be the case, I highly doubt everything's going to take a chill pill. All right, DIA does not look bad as of right now. We've been talking about IWM, DIA. They don't look all that bad. I know we focus on SPY and QQQ, but those are also pieces to the puzzle. You know, you can see over here on QQQ, it does not look all that bad. Okay. You pull back into hourly moving averages over here, SPY and QQQ. You've been coiled up all day. And honestly, I would say upside from here is more likely than downside in the short term / tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow, we probably are going to be going higher. Small caps over here in the short term, probably going to be going higher. Okay, so let's go over some levels and let's jump right into some trade ideas. So things that are going to be moving well in the short term. Okay, on the upside, SPY 664.89 above there, 667, 668, 670. Okay, yes, the big 670. QQQ, guys, we're talking $600. On the downside over here for SPY, we're talking 661.78, 660.27, 659.11. If we test 659.11, that's not really the best thing. We're back underneath the 4-hour 21 EMA. We already tested it right here. If we test it, you know, again, in the short term, we're probably going to break it. So, you know, that's why I made that the blue level of the video. All right, so that is SPY. We're coming over here to QQ on the upside. We're talking 598.14 above there. 600. We can very well go there tomorrow. Okay. From today's close, guys, $600 is only 0.7% away, 0.7, 0.8% away, just about 0.8%. It's doable. It is doable, just like SPY. Okay, this one was NASDAQ was a bit stronger here. Tech was a bit stronger than the S&P today. So you didn't coil up as much, but it still looks pretty similar there on the 1 hour and 4 hour. We very well can just push up from here. Okay, we do have these bearish divergences going on, but as you could see, the 4 hour side is already starting to curl back up. I don't think we're going to sell just yet, my personal opinion, okay? But it is OPEX tomorrow, so just realize we get volatility. Most of the time, guys, around OPEX, we get volatile chop. All right, so it's, you know, yes, there's volatility, but, you know, there's a bunch of people just closing and opening new positions. And that's what you get for monthly OPEX. We have triple witching day as well. But, you know, 100% for monthly OPEX, that's how they all work. That's why we have volatility on these days, you know, around these, because the sessions around these guys, that's exactly what's taking place. People are closing their, you know, deep in the money positions. They're opening new in the money positions, out the money positions. Dealers are hedging. That creates a lot of back and forth, a lot of volatility as people place their different bets and the dealers have to, you know, maneuver around those. So just realize that is what you're going to have over the next few days. That's why, you know, you have a big fat doji candlestick on the day. Volatile chop. Okay. Yes, you're getting, you know, some decent moves. That's a 2-point move. Do you guys remember when we were having like 50-cent, you know, moves over here? Not over here. That there was definitely some times, you know, over here we're within $1 for the whole day. Well, over here we're having 2-point swings back and forth. Okay, so VIX is very low, but you're still getting that volatility. Volatile chop. All right. But yeah, on the upside, 598.14, $600. On the downside, we're talking 592.86, 591.75, 590.49. Okay, and over here, 590.49. If you take that out, all right, not too good for the bulls over there. You're starting to roll. All right, and you do have the 4 hour bearish divergence present. So if you start to roll, it can lead to something larger. There you go. All right, those are your indices, guys. I do think you're going higher. 250 in the short term over here. IWM, DIA does look like it also wants to push higher in the short term. All right, so moving on over here, Mag 7 stocks, guys. We are talking Tesla. It did end up fading today. It did not push straight up. I'm just going to say, guys, short-term price action is unclear. If you can get over 433.52, you probably get 440, and then we're talking 450, 460 in the short term. I'm just telling you, I really have no idea what the short term has in store for Tesla over here. You're either going to be putting in a weekly candle like this, and we're developing a range over the next 2 to 3 weeks that we then break up for the next leg up but it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks down the line. But if it's going to happen this way, and if it's going to be just like last time when you developed your range, or if it's something like this over here, guess what? You still go back to the top of the range the following week. Okay, over here, you almost made it back up to the top of that candle. Over here, you did make it over the high of that candle. So I'm just letting you guys know that is your bear case. I have absolutely no idea which way it wants to go. You did take out the previous day's low yesterday. So, I just know that that condition happens when you are putting in a range. And after seeing today's price action, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense there. You're still above the 4-hour 21 EMA over here, guys. As long as you're above 410, I think it's good in the short term. But I'm just going to say, if you do take out 409.67, you take out this low over here, you're probably coming down to 396.69 gap. Okay, and I think that's probably where your floor is going to be before pushing back up top of the range next week. All right, so there's that. But don't drive yourself nuts trading this. I'm going to go over a bunch of trade ideas right after these that are going to give you a much better time. Okay, Amazon still finding buyers off 21 EMA, guys. It's still consolidating before the move to all-time highs. That's all I'm going to say there. Microsoft over here doing a whole lot of nothing. You got better names to trade right now. That's that. Don't touch it until it takes out 517.23. Okay, unless you want to be buying off 21 and risk this previous day's low right over here. It's up to you, but it's not giving you anything. Meta doesn't look all that bad, but it's not giving you anything. Apple looks like you are consolidating before breaking above 241.32 for that next leg. All right, so this is an idea over here, guys. If you pull back into right over here around the 9 EMA 235s. You probably are going to find buyers around there before eventually getting above 241.32 and having that next leg up, and then 250 plus is inbound. Okay, you could focus there on Apple. I'm going to say NVDA over here doesn't look all that bad, but you went golden pocket to golden pocket. We're going to see if you reject right over here. We're not sure. You did find sellers there, 2 4-hour candles in a row. We can see the lower wicks that are developing there because you are finding sellers here in the golden pocket. Above 170.75, you're probably heading back up to 180.28. Take that out, 184.47. There you go. Okay, Google over here doesn't look like a top is in. Looks like you have a 3-day range going on here, and it looks like it's getting real tight with that flat top setup. And it wants to move upward. It looks like it wants to have that next little leg up. Okay, Mag 7 stocks, guys, they don't look all that bad, but just realize they can pull back, and we are definitely going to be looking for buyers on this pullback. Okay, if you pull back into this area over here, probably 590, 591 here on QQQ, you're probably going to find buyers around there. Okay. Everything's set up to go higher in the short term over here. Just look at how small caps is set up. Look at how DIA wants to move higher, okay? The only thing I will point out, VIX over here, guys, you did close out. It's not green on the day like the indices, but you are closing flat, and the candlestick is definitely a big recovery there. It makes sense with what we got over here, all right? We had this big fade from the overnight gap up. All right, you looked like you want to move higher into the next session. You did, and you faded it, guys. We still have that same exact environment, but 4-hour does look like it's curling up here. We do want to push new highs. That is what that's looking like, okay? But just a reminder, if you see the pullback, I can't tell you exactly what happens in the short term. I can point to what is likely going to happen in the short term, but I can't say with certainty what happens. But I do know if you do see that pullback and that you get a deeper correction there, guess what? It's going to be bought probably by end of next week. There you go. Have fun. All right. IBM, we talked about it. Okay. We talked about it. I think 2 days in a row, we talked about it down here, right underneath 266.6. Guess what? That broke today, guys. That broke today. You went straight to 265.72. Above there, we're talking 269.28. We talked about this, and we said within a few weeks, we think it's actually going to be making it back up to these highs. I know, absolute crazy shit. Pardon my French, but crazy stuff over here, guys. Crazy stuff. Next stop. Okay, the next big stop, 272. That's your 0.618 fib. I'm expecting you to go straight up there. All right, whether you have a little pullbacks along the way, that's irrelevant. You're going to see price move up there. You're going to see on the weekly chart, it's going to look like you go straight there. All right, that's IBM. HIMS, guys, started popping back up today. They got hit with FTA. They had to make all of their products, everything fit within these requirements they got hit with not too long ago, and the stock likes it, okay, or the shareholders like it, and therefore the stock price likes it. It's going up. It looks like it's about to break over 56.52 in the short term here. If it gaps down tomorrow, I think it's probably going to go like this and it gets bought. And then, you know, you taking out 56.52 is going to be your trigger for that continuation move, probably at the 58.59 in the short term. The 0.618 fib is at 59, yeah, 59 bucks. So I think that has a possibility of hitting in the short term. Whether it does something like that, not really sure, but yeah, I'm looking for the breakout above 56.52, and it does look like this thing can do in the short term, but if not tomorrow, next week. Okay, that is HIMS. All right, RKT. It looks like it's compressing over here. It's getting ready for that next little leg. It does not look all that bad on the daily and the 4-hour. I'm just pointing out it is consolidating right underneath the previous all-time high there. And I think it is only a matter of time until this thing starts going up for another leg. And yeah, it looks like it's getting juicy. Okay, that's RKT. Open, guys. You didn't get the move today. No, you did not, but you sat there consolidating at the highs the whole session there. You're consolidating right next to your, you know, the top of the range right there. Does not look all that bad over here. It looks like you're just stair-stepping your way up. I think we're going to break it tomorrow. Why do I think we're going to break it tomorrow? I think it makes perfect sense for this weekly candle to expand here. Normally, when you gap up and you sit right next to the previous week's high, you normally do end up taking that out. And a lot of the times when I see it setting up like that on, you know, into end of week like that, you can come down to the daily time frame. You also see a nice consolidation setup going on over here. And I'm just saying, this thing is definitely still just flagging out here in this range, above short-term moving averages. It would not surprise me at all to see this thing, that weekly candle there, expand upwards into end of week. You have to take out 1097. All right, that was the high over here. You rejected here yesterday. All right, you got real close to it. You have a high here of 1087. But yeah, just get over 1097. I think this thing is going to rip faces, and I think we get 12 plus in the short term, but 1344 is also very probable in the short term. If it does not happen tomorrow, I do think this thing is just going to work its way, and probably by Wednesday next week, we're probably going to be up on our way for that next leg. All right, that's open. Rivian started popping back up today. It actually popped up the other day, but it started after this dip. It ate it, and it almost made a new high. Hit my alert up there. 1503, guys. Looking for that breakout in the short term. I'm not saying it happens right away. All right, we could continue building something out here, but it's just going to get ready for a larger move. But, you know, it's very similar to what you have over here, except there's a whole ton more consolidation. I think a larger move is underway over here on Rivian. I've been watching it for a long time. Monthly chart says something's coming. You just got to take out this area here. So I'm just going to say this high right here, next time you take it out, 1715, I think this thing's going to rip. I think you're going to start ripping faces. But either way, above 1503, we're talking 1598 in the short term, and above there you have 1715, which is your key to a larger move. Looks like it's going to be popping up here on the daily time frame. It's consolidating here. Looks like it wants to pop up to a new high. Maybe it builds out some more structure over the coming sessions, but it does look like in the short term it is going to be going up. Okay, so watch for the breakout above 46.94. Only thing above there is 50 bucks. SERV, we pointed out when it started breaking out over here. Actually, I think I pointed out over here, okay? And then I started pointing out again over here. Now I'm going to point out it's about to break out above 1312. And if you can get above 1312, the only thing next, I mean, you do have these right here at 1358, but then you have 1427. And above 1427, we come back to the weekly chart and we can see that's the high right there. We're going 1550 plus after that, okay? But yeah, I do think a larger move is underway here. SERV, just like we pointed out, RR. All right, right over here when it started spiking. Well, guess what? That is starting to make its way up. Robotics theme is it's catching steam. Okay. CRWV. All right. Someone loaded almost $5 million of the 120 calls expiring tomorrow. I think this thing is a very similar scenario over here to what I was just saying on open there. Typically, when we see the gap up into previous week's, upper wick there, normally I see this thing push up. At some point in that week, it expands. It doesn't always have to be the case, but that is what it's looking like. And we did see those come in today. And yeah, you break over 125.67. I think this thing is going to have a quick move up to 140. So that's what I'm looking for in the short term here. And again, if it doesn't happen, tomorrow, it's not the end of the world. It's going to happen next week probably. But yeah, it's just building out consolidation here. And you do have a range going on of, about 10 points. So I imagine if you break that, yeah, that first day, I think you go 10, 20 points. But yeah, this is known to have these big rips going on here. And if it can get one of these ripper days, okay, we're talking, 20 plus point move. I think it's right around the corner. That's CRWV. JD over here, guys, looking real sexy over here on the 4 hour. This thing looks like it's about to break up above 35.69. You really have nothing until 37.84 up there, okay? So that is JD. It's looking like it wants to continue over here, and you do have this little base breakout going on this week. Heavy volume the last 2 weeks as well. A lot more volume than what you've had for quite some time. Lemonade, okay, looking like it's getting ready for a breakout above 60.41, guys. You're not there yet, but you are consolidating here on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm just going to point out you very well could start breaking up above this little range tomorrow, and maybe you're going to be knocking on 60.41's door. Above there, like you guys see the same thing I'm seeing. This thing is going to rip bases. This thing is going to have another breakout on its hand, and I do think in the short term, like this thing is going to get a big move. This is a 20% move. Nope, this is a 10% move. 10% move over the next 2 sessions. Once you broke out over there, a 10% move over here is bring you up to 66.48. All right, within 2 to 3 sessions from that. So keep it on your radar. It's getting ready to move. We are watching it over here, getting ready for that next little leg, and it decided to start, fading over there. Okay, look, it almost got it, and then bang, it started fading, but now it's working its way back up. So I do think a larger move is right around the corner for Lemonade. And with IWM doing what it's doing right now, small caps like Lemonade are going to get ready to move. Sound over here, guys, we talked about it the other day. Yesterday, or no, it was on this day, not yesterday, day before that, on this candle right there. It is now breaking above 15.53. You actually got a daily close above there today. And I do think this thing is getting ready for the move above 17 bucks in the short term. Okay. So that's sound over here, guys. Just, if you see it, pulling back here, just creating structure, that's probably going to be your buying opportunity before that next move up. Okay. If you see it tomorrow, just building something out there, that's good into next week. But I also wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these names did end up going here into end of week. I will not be surprised. Grab over here. Look at that volume, guys. Look at the volume here on the weekly candle. All right. Last time you had similar volume was right over here. What happened that next week from the close? All right. You had a 20% move up. So I'm just saying, if we do that with from where we are right now, we are going up to 764, this target right up there. Okay, grab. I pointed out when it was first breaking out, you got a retest opportunity if you want, and then look, you pulled back and you went back up to highs. This thing wants to move. It's going to continue moving. Look at all this volume coming in. It's looking beautiful. UU Energy Fuels Incorporated. Okay. It looks like it's going. You have wick. Guess what? You're engulfing the wicks. Okay. You're also building out a base above those wicks. This thing is probably going to break up from this little, base that's building on top of this little base. Okay. Or top of the bigger base, which look, base, break up, base, break up, base. It's probably going to break up again. That's probably going to be how this goes. But 4 hour and daily say, yeah, this thing's just building out structure here before this next little move up. So keep it on your radar for a short-term move. TEM. All right, you did get the break above 88.19, guys. It did not end up sending you. So I'm just going to say the setup is still here. It's still alive and well. But at the same time, I don't know. If they don't send you into end of week, I'm not really sure about this one. Just because all these other, times you were trending here, you close out with a candle like that, like you're not going anywhere the next week. You're not. So I'm just going to say it's same kind of scenario as open there. Same one as CRWV. Like it makes sense for them to expand this weekly candlestick, and you only have 1 day left in the week. So we'll see if they end up doing it tomorrow. You can watch this high that they made in pre-market here, 89.39, break above there, 91.45. And then I think they take you 100 plus on that day you actually break out. So if it happens tomorrow, happens tomorrow. We'll see about it. I think it makes the most sense to happen tomorrow, but it also can just keep building something out here before that eventual move up. It could be different. Why? Because this thing is finally getting ready to actually break out. Like it's building out structure here at the high of the range. That hasn't happened. You built it out at the low, or the midpoint there. So we'll see about it. But definitely one we're still going to be watching over here. ONS over here looks like in the short term it's going to pop up to a new high above 686, guys. Push straight to $7 above there. You have nothing until 8:30. Okay, so that is ONS, ONDS. VST. All right, we talked about this one with we were waiting for the break over 199.84. That probably brought you straight up the highs. Guess what? You almost got straight up the highs. And now I'm just going to point out you're building out consolidation right underneath previous all-time high, above moving averages. It looks like this thing is getting ready for a move up. I'm not sure if it's going to happen into end of week. I'm really not sure. If you close out with a candlestick like this, I mentioned they're not going to send you next week, but we're still going to watch it. Either way, you do have this consolidation building up. And at some point, it leads to a breakout over here. So you could put it on your radar there. Market alert for 216.85. Next time you hit it, you're probably going to be breaking it. And that should bring you 240 plus. Okay. All right, guys. That's what I have for you guys in today's video. I'm just going to point out Reddit, guys. You did end up having a big move up today. We pointed out on the dip yesterday. I've been very vocal about how this thing trades. It likes stair-stepping. It has a lot of pullbacks here. It has these impulsive moves up, and then it pulls back, okay? It continuously does it. It's how it traded here. It's how it traded here. You can actually look at that on the 4-hour time frame. Look at all the stair steps. Every single day you get a stair step, okay? Maybe, every few days over here. Regardless, it continues to trade like this over time throughout all of these moves. So just expect that that's going to be the case. You can keep, buying on the dips and selling into new highs, and you're going to keep getting them. That's just how the thing's going to trade. But I do think it is going higher. We just built out structure here around the previous all-time high, and now we're pushing up off of that. Yeah, I do think it's going higher. We have nice volume on the move. But yeah, just expect it will keep stair stepping. So don't be surprised if this thing does pull back down into this 90 EMA right over here around, 260 tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets bought and you head back up past 282.95 next week. All right, there you go. All right, guys, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, if you want to come trade with me, that link is down below. I'm live every day. And I hope you guys are crushing this market. I hope you guys are taking advantage of these trade ideas. And I promise, guys, you're not going to catch them all. There's a lot. Okay, I'll give you guys what's moving. You guys can make the decision on which ones you would like to trade, okay? But, I do point out my favorites almost every video. And I'm just letting you guys know, this move over here on open, this is one that I think it's very possible that we could have this move into end of week tomorrow. I think the 4 hours setting up. If it doesn't go tomorrow, like this thing is setting up for a move in the short term. It's pretty frustrating if it doesn't go into end of week. But at the same time, like it's probably just going to go early next week. It's either going to just push up, it's like one of these guys over here, or you're going to just build out, more consolidation for the next 1 to 2 weeks before that, move up. But it doesn't look like that. Why? You're consolidating at the low over here. Guess what? This is consolidating at the high. This is getting ready for a big boy move, I'm pretty sure. And I think it takes you above 1344. And as far as weekly goes, whether it be this week or next week, when that move is happening, that's where your next 5 to 10x is on the table for this ticker. So definitely want to keep on your radar over here in the short term. Other than that, guys, I'm just going to say I like Grab and I like IBM over here, but I've been vocal about it the past few days. HIMS also looks like get a move in the short term. And even if it doesn't happen, this week, tomorrow, I think this thing might be moving next week. Okay. But those are my top watches right now. I really like IBM over here. I really do. I think dips are going to be bought just like they did over here. I think in the short term, if you want something you want to trade shorter dated options on, you want a trending stock, you could do so on. It's right over here on IBM. You're probably going to continue seeing strength over the coming weeks. So I'd say definitely put this one on your radar. All right, guys, with that being said, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.